Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the StarLadder I-League Invitational Season 4. We're going to be hopping into game number 2 here. The first one was a little bit of a quick one, as compLexity versus Immortals was a little bit of a thrashing. We saw compLexity just basically wipe the floor with them. I think that a lot had to do with the draft, though, and we're going to be seeing if Immortals make some changes here in game number 2. I'm Lyrical, joined as well by Tsunami, like I said. And Tsunami, how you doing, man?
I'm good. It's more comfort picks for compLexity. I thought that they were gonna keep up the dynamic that they had previously. Like, I mean, I'm sure they were very familiar with all the heroes that they were playing, but there were some, odd situations like Z-Freak on the Sand King is something that we don't see very frequently. But Kyle was drafting accordingly to his opponent. But Wyvern, Puck, those are compLexity mainstays, and Wyvern's not as high tempo as really any of the other heroes were. I saw Nahaz had tweeted out that Witch Doctor had dealt way more damage than any other hero in the entire game in that previous game, and Wyvern's not a hero that can do that, put up those kinds of numbers for sure. So it's a little bit of a different look, but I have faith. We'll see where he goes with this.
Yeah, and I think that was more, again, a reaction to the Tiny, really. Like that to me, it feels like it's such a good hero against him, and just strength cores in general really that get that status resistance, because it's going to mean that you deal more damage in a shorter period of time. There's less chance for you to heal through it. It's just a really good pick overall. I could still also be the Z-Freak Winter Wyvern. He's been known to play it from time to time in the position 4, get a lot of farm. He's also been known to play Puck in position 4. This draft is wide open. It can be played in a lot of different ways. And it's Immortals that are going to need to figure out what they want to do. It seems, though, like they're fairly confident with the way that it went last time. And they didn't recognize the Skywrath Major, I guess the Clockwork they're taking out, and they're putting the Tuscan instead.
Team pick.
Yeah, although you'll have to forgive me, but I do have to correct one thing, because this is the second time that I've heard this misinformation be spread, and so I want to put a stop to it now. Maledict is not actually affected by status resistance. It's one of the few non-ultimate DOTs that aren't affected, but it isn't, like, it doesn't tick faster, the DOTs aren't reduced, the overall duration isn't reduced, anything like that, yeah.
Oh.
So I know a lot of people have mentioned it, and it does seem especially effective against Tiny. But I think part of the reason is because since Tiny has 0 armor, a lot of the times that, like, these right clicks on heroes don't matter with Maledict 90% of the time. But against Tiny, every single little bit of damage that you can do, even with auto attacks, does matter. And so it does tick just as fast as something else does. But, like, I've heard like so many casters mention it, and I was like, I don't think that's accurate. And so yeah, I checked again just now just to see if it changed, but the wiki does claim that Maledict is not affected. So
all right, interesting. I was totally misinformed then. Interesting.
Yeah, there are a handful, like Poison Nova by Venomancer isn't, but that's like an ultimate, so sometimes there are different exceptions. Firestorm isn't from Underlord, because I guess it's like scaling percentage wise. And then a few other DOTs. If there isn't a slowing component, then for the most part it's not affected.
Okay.
So that's like some rule of thumb that you can use, but yeah, Dota's a game of exceptions, and that's just one of thousands.
Wonderful. You gotta see it, though. Well, I mean, regardless, it was a pretty freaking effective spell to be used in that one, and I guess that even if it doesn't necessarily tick faster, it's still a way to deal damage based upon percentage of HP, which is what they need against big tanky cores.
Right.
And Brewmaster taken now, as well as the Lycan and the Clockwork. Solid stuff.
Yeah, yet again, it's a cooldown dependent hero, and so if they give it to MSS, at least Brewmaster can do more in the mid game. These days we're seeing Brewmaster not be so like heavily dependent on Primal Split cooldown, like just between Haze and the crit from the Brawler, Brewmaster is useful even without his ultimate being available. Whereas Tidehunter, not so much, and so it's a step in the right direction. I still don't know if it's a big enough step in the right direction, but at least with a Wyvern as compLexity's one of 5 heroes, then it's going to be less high tempo, just inherently, because Wyvern's not as aggressive of a hero.
Yeah.
But the other 3 heroes that compLexity have are, pretty similar. Puck plays very much the way that the Death Prophet in Game 1 played. Less push potential, obviously, sure, but Limp wasn't really playing it as like a raw pusher. The only time that he was ever using Exorcism was in like, you know, whenever Lycan and the crew was also with his team, so he wasn't ever like taking towers by himself for the most part, and so Puck can, you know, Illusory Orb is just as good as Crypt Swarm, and he has more burst damage with Waning Rift than a Death Prophet does. No Silence, which was pretty useful in the previous game, but, you know, it's a different direction.
I mean, he still has Waning Rift Silence.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
yes, absolutely has the Silence. Like, so it is like Death Prophet.
It's just not the pushing component, more team fight,
right.
and like keeping people under control. But yeah, Broodmother banned out, complexity not wanting to be cheesed. And we also have one final ban there. The PL is, I think, a little bit scary. It's going to depend a lot upon Puck to be able to reveal which one's the true PL, and then Wyvern hitting a good ulti, most likely. Because besides that, they don't have much illusion clear. Or you just freaking end the game before he gets online, which is another possibility.
Which, given Game 1, wouldn't be surprised if that's what happens.
Yeah. God, if this is a QOPL and he just goes like Boots of Travel, this game is it's gonna be over.
I mean, he has protection if he does go mid. Like we don't know where this PL is gonna go, and it's not the best matchup against a Puck. Obviously, because Lance can very easily be dodged by phase shift. So it's like, yeah, okay, so it's gonna be a Dragon Knight in the mid lane.
I mean, it still could be QOPL though. Like they could lane swap as well. I think that it's more likely to be a QOPL just because of the play style. I don't know if I've ever seen him play a Dragon Knight.
Do they often swap does MP go mid a lot?
I think they switch it up depending upon what the hero is. Yeah, like if he's playing PA, then he'll sometimes go safe lane with it. But I think it's more dependent upon what the matchup is going to be.
Well, I think they should definitely send the DK up against Puck, which I'm like 99% sure it's going to be a mid lane Puck. It's one of Limp's signature heroes, but
all four of them play it. Yeah.
Oh, well, never mind then.
So everybody but Kyle pretty much plays Puck. That's the other thing that's weird about this team. So it's going to be a Z-Freak Wyvern, and then it is going to be a Swindle's Clockwork. I was wondering if they're going to do something like this at the end, but that's the thing with those two opening picks and the fact that complexity is just such a varied collection of heroes that they play. It really could have been anything. Do you like the Shadow Fiend though?
If the Shadow Fiend was a specific reaction to the DK pick, then I do like it. Because SF is a hero that can get away with quite a bit against a hero like DK, which maybe now they're not going to send DK mid, because if your mid lane matchup is going to be the Shadow Fiend, then you're probably better off sending the Phantom Lancer instead and giving him the support of Skywrath Mage and Tusk. So, I'm not sold on it yet. I'm not sold on the SF.
No. Well, I will say in the South American games that we watched leading up to this, it was tended to be a pretty good answer to the Dragon Knight. When they were doing it, though, I think that it might have been Infamous or SG, one of the two. They tended to pair it with like a Bane or a Shadow Demon and then an Elder Titan. And it just did so much damage. The DK couldn't stay in the lane. He was getting constantly destroyed by raises once it got level 3.
I did see that game. I think we casted that. Yeah. And so with that potential for setup, I can definitely see the, it seems like a reasonable pick, but I am skeptical right now. We'll see how complexity are going to deal with it. Mainly just because I'm in the mindset that they still want to play it in the way that they played it in Game 1, it being like their team comp. And these heroes aren't nearly as good as playing so high tempo as the draft in Game 1 was. But at the same time, Immortals' heroes are also a little bit slower paced. Like, DK is not really like move around a lot, get kills a lot. Sure, you can get a Blink Dagger and Dragon's Blood makes you very tanky, but still, it's not like a Bloodseeker, which was how they ran the mid lane last time.
So this is the one of two things that you can do also, and I want to see what it is that Complexity decide to do. If they go for 12 souls, that usually means that the Shadow Fiend is afterwards going to run and try and get the rune as well. If they could also just stay for 15 and then he blocks the wave. So the big tell here is going to be if Kyle pops another souls on their way to the rune, and it looks like instead Immortals, they're going to end up heading back anyways. So they'll do one more here. go for 15, and then Limp will most likely just block the wave, and they'll give up all bounty runes pretty much.
Yeah, and Immortals, it's a bit greedy that they leave Phantom Lancer just alone like this, because it is, you know, possible. It's just that Immortals have such good level 1 potential that complexity don't even want to find out the hard way how many heroes they have. And so Immortals, they get a lot for the exchange for these souls, but SF is still pretty happy. We'll see how happy he stays, though, as Febby actually has not gotten any clarities, but straight up null talisman, but he's got nothing better to do than just toss arcane bolts on SF all day.
And it looks like it's going to be an MSS Brewmaster. QO is going to be sitting mid on the PL. They're going to send the DK basically into an offlane position going up against the puck. So a 1v1 there, and then MSS versus the Lycan and the Clockwork. Although Clock might end up paying away as well, as Z-Freak is going to start to deal some harassment damage. Limp already down to pretty low HP.
Yeah, and in the mid lane, Dubu went for a pretty nice block with the ice shards in the mid lane, so all of these creeps have been forced onto the high ground, and SF is not able to get any right clicks done, so Febby's just been able to pour into him with a few arcane bolts, and already the Shadow Fiend's down to pretty critical HP.
Yeah. Gonna need to play it really safe. Even getting that salve now brought out to him, which is going to be safe, as Dubu wasn't able to find any type of a courier snipe at all. Really hard with melee heroes. And so far, SF has 15 souls, but no other last hit so far. It's been a tough one.
We'll see how long Z-Freak is interested in staying here, because if you are here as a Wyvern, you may have to consider getting early points in Cold Embrace, and a lot of Wyverns these days don't like having to do that, because it cuts down on their farming potential with fewer points in Splinter Blast, and like it's another spell that isn't dealing damage, and so if you have to get it for the sustain, there are better healer heroes out there, but Z-Freak may be forced into an early Cold Embrace just to make sure that Limp doesn't get completely crushed in this mid lane.
And even if he does manage to get the Cold Embrace out, it doesn't necessarily ensure that he's going to get away. So far, Immortals really putting the hurt to complexity as far as the CS is concerned. Inhabiting all of the top of it so far. That could change around rather rapidly, though. We're only 2 minutes into the game. And also chances for kills if QO overextends. PL isn't the tankiest hero in the world.
No, and he's pretty susceptible to triple raises as well.
Yeah. One comes through. They've got it. Second one pulling it back in, trying to bring down QO. They managed to hit him another time. QO caught. And Z-Freak managed to draw first blood. Just like that.
That was a great opening. Phantom Lancer's only level 2, so you know that he doesn't have Doppelganger available. Limp actually missed that second raise. It was he almost got it as soon as Phantom Lancer got yanked into the cogs, but didn't quite land it, but regardless, they were able to finish him off.
Yeah.
And this gives a pretty important buffer zone. He didn't get the first blood, Limp didn't get the first blood, so no gold influx, but the fact that he's been able to, you know, build up 18 souls, get that point in raise now, and is working on level 3, means that Wyvern can afford to do other things for a little bit, which now it's Kyle policing the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane, and Wyvern is headed up to the top lane.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Limp even forgoes the bottle here. Like, you're not going to be able to get runes, I don't think. With how many heroes are here mid for Immortals. It might just be more worth it to like get into stats or something else and keep buying regen. I don't know, it's just so tough.
I mean, these days I'm rarely ever surprised if any if any mid laners go for bottle. It's like, it's a 50-50 coin flip as far as I'm concerned, and I wouldn't be surprised if he just goes for a straight up Aquila early on.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Just under 4 minutes in. Like they're able to find QO yet again. He's actually out of mana and might end up. Oh, the raise miss. He might be able to find the third one though. Looking for the finish.
Out of mana.
Not enough. He had already used the long range one anyways, so didn't matter.
Yeah, that raise missing. I mean, Phantom Lancer had 7 wand charges, so he may have survived regardless. But yeah, that's the second raise now that Limp has missed. So gotta be. I don't know if he's using like the force direction thing. I see a lot of SFs recommend that, where you like aren't susceptible to pathing, is now concussive shot onto Limb in the mid lane and a snowball.
Yeah, he's done. Pretty quick and easy the way that happens. Shadow Fiend is still just a very squishy hero. even though he's gotten buffs to his damage, which means he's more of a glass cannon than he was before.
And he's actually going to the bot lane. So I don't really think Mu can take the mid lane. I mean, he's level 5, sure, but like, what was the purpose of sending the SF into the mid lane to begin with if this was going to be your plan? Like, you might as well have given Limp protection in the safe lane and had him deal with the DK.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Mu will have an easier time of it. Maybe they just didn't want a lane swap and said, all right, we'll just take the hits for now. But yeah, it is a little bit odd.
Okay, well, now that means that in the mid lane, Phantom Lancer is going to get more done. Like, sure, it's great to get kills, but Phantom Lancer's pretty interested in getting solo experience. Otherwise, like, your Spirit Lance is going to be that useful. We did see yesterday a max Phantom Rush build, but this game I think it's more important to be able to get the nuke damage from range. Especially because, you know, you're going to be dealing with a Lycan, you can't really be chasing him all willy-nilly.
Yeah. It does mean that Limp will probably have a better time of it too, and actually maybe be able to get boots on him, which is a good thing to have. This one.
Or he might get baited by the boots. I mean, he sees that side shot, but Dubu's ready and waiting. The Skyrat's ready and waiting.
There's going to be the snowball coming out onto Limp, slowed down. They have the shards. It's going to connect, slowed yet again. Fairy Fire with the pushback, maybe a way to turn this one. Who is there? He gets another raise, a second one, finds a kill, can't get the third onto Febby, but they're still going to pay for this. But they start to run these heroes down. MP trying to man up against Mu. He gets the Dragon Tail, but there's going to be a phase shift as well as a Cold Embrace. No chance for MP to get out of this one.
He's
They'll
so
find the
tanky.
kill. And Musical Lanes continues as Limp heads back mid.
But a lane swap that definitely favors complexity. All 3 heroes go down during that gank attempt, and Limp is the only hero to die from complexity, and he goes back to the mid lane, as you said, so he did complete boots. That's a perk. But SF is definitely getting a lot of pressure applied to him.
Yeah.
On the flip side, that means that Lycan has gone basically untouched. 41 and 13 on the CS right now. Yet again, another extremely early Helm of the Dominator completed.
And this is something that's going to make a big difference as well in this lane. Brewmaster, I'm not sure if he can sustain against like magical harass on top of the right clicks that are going to be coming in here. Particularly if people start to rotate in.
Bot lane. Nice silence means that no Dragon Tail comes out though.
Kyle moving in. The snowball's going to be there as well. They've got the call. He's going to be able to catch 2 in that one. Mu is out of mana though, and TP away from Kyle. He actually gets the last orb off and finds a kill while Kyle gets the hell out.
But QO's chasing Mu down. Phase shift not going to buy you enough time with just 1 point in it, and QO gets the return kill on the puck.
Nicely done.
1-for-1 trade though, you're able to get a level 7 puck for the trade of a level 2 Tusk. I think you're pretty happy with that if you're Immortals. Especially since all that solo experience went to the Phantom Lancer alone.
Another dive onto Limp. They find him, and well, QO actually might end up going down if they can get the last raise. It's not quite going to be there. And Limp running, trying to escape, but to no avail. Action-packed through this early stage. Like we said, it is going to be Chessie able to basically force MSS back, and now takes the tier 1 tower.
Dire's top tower is under
And
attack.
applying pressure for tier 2 also. I don't really know if it's in Immortal's best interest to keep leaving the Lycan alone like this is now. Dubu getting caught out, Chessie gonna drag all of his creeps back, but Dubu was targeting a lane creep instead. And no one seems interested in helping him, and Dubu's not able to land that reverse ice shard.
Silence there. Next on to MP.
Like, Chessie's like, there's no way they're just gonna let me like pressure this tier 2 for free, so he actually backs off, but
Yeah.
everyone from Immortals is on the bottom half of the map right now.
Kind of crazy. Well, it's 9 minutes in, and 6-4 doing into their favor.
Dire's top
Another
tower
breathe
is
fire
under
from the
attack.
in the fog.
Immortals has much better late game and mid game options this draft compared to their previous draft. At least this time they actually have pushers. Phantom Lancer, he's not going to come online for a little bit later, as now we see Wyvern getting silenced out.
Good silence, trying to stay alive. He's gonna get the Dragon Tail after the fact, and
Breathe fire.
that'll be more than enough. Huo is coming in also. And Moo is going to need to back out of here before things get too messy.
Yeah, and as soon as Chessie sees the Phantom Lancer shows up, then he goes right back to the top lane because he knows they're going to start pushing bot, but Lycan's a much faster pusher, even against Corrosive Breath, because Glyph is down, but Moo is up, and Z-Freak is up, and Drink Coil's spent.
Yep, they have a shards now as well. The Splinter Blast going to come out. The Mystic Flare on top of Moo is going to drop to that one. More than enough damage. The tower still stands, but at least slightly. And it will eventually fall as Z-Freak is going to need a TP out of there. But his TP's on cooldown. He TP'd into that one. Immortals, they're not going to give chase for now.
I'm surprised that Kyle wasn't able to find an opening. He has level 6, he has hookshot. And he's going to go for a hook on the mid lane of the Brewmaster. He's getting animation canceled.
That's really good. And MSS now trying to get out of there. Not going to happen. They find the kill, but now QO thought about going in further. They're both going to TP away. While Lycan continues to push. Going to take down the tier 2 tower.
Dire's top tower has
The only
fallen.
stuns they have are the Tusk and the DK, and Tusk has just been sitting here quietly soaking up experience because Dooku was really underleveled, and so he's not able to scare Chessie off at all. And if he shows himself, then Chessie will just go straight into the shapeshift and mow him down. So all he can do is just sit back and watch as his tier 2 tower top goes down and soak up a little bit of experience. But both teams are willing to let a lot of objectives go by, as now MP taking some harass from the Wyvern, but it doesn't look like Moo's interested in spending the Dream Coil. Kyo mid.
Running away. They get the silence. Shadow Fiends. Oh, they get the
what a
stomp
stomp.
as well. Chessie making the plays. They're now going to try and chase, but they do manage to find the stun onto him from MP. The ulti is going to come out as well from the Brewmaster. They do have Winter's Curse here, and they're going to decide to turn it now and see if they can take on the Dragon Knight. It's not going to be enough, though.
And
now another
Clockwork's
kill.
next.
Immortals striking back.
Well played by Kyo. He microed his doppelganger illusion well enough that Lycan thought for sure that the one that he stomped and followed up on was the real one, and Wyvern ended up splinter blasting the real Phantom Lancer to try to finish off the illusion, but Kyo gets out by the skin of his teeth and they turn around. Still, no cores go down, but Kyo survives, and that's the most important thing.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's middle
So
tower
12
has
minutes
fallen.
in, it's 7 to 8.
Dire's bottom tower is
Much
under
more
attack.
even.
Definitely. I mean, at this point, I was almost ready to call it, honestly. Like, last game was a struggle and a half.
Yeah, the Skywrath in this game is feeling very reminiscent of the Witch Doctor in Game 1, this time from Febby, previously Kyle's Witch Doctor, because Skywrath it's difficult to find openings, but he's gone for this max silence build, which means that your magic damage is increased by 40% whenever you have the seal enabled, and so Breathe Fire, Spirit Lands, Thunderclap, and obviously the Arcane Bolts themselves from the Skywrath and the Mystic Flare, they do so much bonus damage, and typically Puck feels pretty confident going for super aggressive plays, but Moo's been getting sealed up by the Skywrath quite a bit that he's not really confident going for aggression, at least pre-Blink Dagger, which he's going for a Veil first. He'll have that completed whenever it's delivered on the courier, and then he's going to go for the Blink Dagger after.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Diffusal Blade, still a little ways away for QO. Dubu and Skywrath Mage. Also in the area as bottom lane. MSS gonna TP back, and looks like they maybe want to take a fight up towards the top lane right now.
Oh, they see Febby. They got a vision of him.
Oh, they also see MP. The chase is gonna be there. They find the kill, but is it gonna cost them too much? Are they even gonna be able to find the kill onto MP? He is gonna go down. Now running away. Kyle gonna have to give up his life for the cause. Oh, Chessie just gets out of there.
DK is going to be an increasingly more difficult hero to
Dire's
kill
middle
like
tower
that.
is under attack.
Like they were able to do it with 2 heroes that time, and with all these units pouring out, like they had to spend Necrobook for that and
Dire's
Shapeshift,
bottom
so
tower is under
it's a heavy
attack.
commitment from a Lycan, but you know, he's already taken the top tier 2 tower, he doesn't really have anything better to do. But DK is going to be more difficult to kill moving forward, and he's going for a Blink Dagger on the DK, which I think is the right call. They need some initiation from Immortals. Tusk isn't able to do it himself, and Blink Dagger.
Yeah, they get it.
Now
They're able
they
to find
cancel
him.
the TP. Yeah.
Good play right there. Chessie is going to be found out. He's going to end up going down.
it takes them so long to kill these heroes.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
mean, granted, the Phantom Lancer has not really been participating very much. Right now, Kyo has just been racing to complete that Diffusal Blade.
They realize they need it. Moo? Is he going in on this? Thinking about it, Dubu's in the area too, and that's going to stop him from going any further.
I'm surprised he didn't go. He knows where Skywrath is. He's in the top lane being tracked by wolves, and so I'd have thought he feels a little more confident. He's now Snowball in.
Well, Dubu might be the one that ends up going down. Said, nice dodge to the Dragon Tail there. So we'll get the extra damage off. They throw it onto the Dragonite, which means Moo is going to have another round of abilities to throw out here. Kyle also able to kill off Febby while this is happening. Diffuse the Blade is there onto Moo, but he's got a haste rune. He's getting out of there.
He runs as fast as his Illusory Orb, and he manages to just sprint out of the fight entirely. MP does survive, and the Tusk goes down instead. Meanwhile, in the top lane, looks like the Skywrath ended up dying to Shadow Fiend, which Shadow Fiend is a hero that we actually have not been paying attention to, and Limp's just been recovering ever since that difficult laning phase, working his way to a first item BKB, actually.
It feels like it's the same way that compLexity were playing before. They want to try and end this game quickly before PL can really get online and become a problem. They've got Necro level 3 on the Lycan as well. This is a strong lineup, and thinking about going into Roshan now.
Yeah, typically I'm pretty skeptical about first item BKBs, but like you said, compLexity want to end this game early. And an early BKB on a hero like Shadow Fiend, who, like you had said, in the laning phase is very glass cannon oriented, like, yes, you will reach that 5-second BKB earlier into the game, but compLexity don't want this game to go any longer than like 35 minutes tops. Lycan's already hitting like a huge power spike with that Necrobook 3, and once you get the BKB completed on the Shadow Fiend, then he can just kind of sit and siege away at towers without anything to be concerned about.
Now again, we're going to be trying to see where they want to go with the next set of abilities. The scan is going to hit onto him, but maybe a push towards mid-tier 2 seems viable to you? What do you think?
I mean, they can go for a defense on the bot lane, but I think compLexity suspect that there's a significant number of Immortals heroes down there. And so right now they're smoking up, and it looks like they're actually venturing down to the bot lane, and this may be a bit dangerous, because they don't see anyone defending the mid-tier 2. All they see is a lone Skywrath.
Jesse.
And they pop out a flare, but right now Immortals are smoked up.
They have all eyes on Chessie, and MP thinking about going right now. Like you said, the Blink Dagger, he's trying to hide, but they spot him. Smoke is broke immediately onto him with everybody, and they're going to try and TP in several heroes. Z-Freak is there. He can go for Winter's Curse. Sets it up beautifully. Now, can the rest of these guys get in here? On the other side, it's going to be the PL going down to Limp, and Chessie gets his ultimate off. They're going to be able to escape. Necrobook is out as well. This is a catastrophe for Immortals. They're going to end up losing more, as MSS is also going to go down, and nobody from compLexity dies.
Being able to split the fight, the Phantom Lancer being taken care of on the high ground, and Lycan just soaking up all of the aggression from the DK on the low ground worked out so well for compLexity. That smoke could have gone an entirely different direction as Hookshot actually missed something. He just barely
He's gone. I got the net.
on borrowed time.
And this could be, like, honestly, a lane of racks. I don't know if they can deal with killing off Limp twice. They don't have Winter's Curse at least.
They don't, and this Necro book is about to time out, and so like I have no issues with MP kind of like teleporting in aggressively like that. We'll see if compLexity want to push the issue. I don't think it's necessary. You do know that Primal Split is down, so it gives you a little bit of an opening, but you know, there's a lot of free gold still to be claimed on the map. Bot lane still has both of its towers. You still have the Aegis for quite a long time. I don't think it's necessary to start going for high aggression like that.
Yeah.
But compLexity are playing excellent, as now Moo does get caught out. Let's see if he can get out of this.
And it is still a puck, which is
Shot. Gone.
That hero's pretty good at getting out of sticky situations.
If he gets a Lincoln's, he's going to be untouchable. He's going for a Yule's first right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for a Lincoln's afterwards. Or maybe he just goes for a Dagon, and again, in the spirit of completing the game early.
They have Necrobooks off cooldown again, and it looks like they're going to go for the, well, kill onto Febby first, as he is going to end up dropping. Limp gets that kill. Top lane, Jesse. Very bold for him to go in on this right now. Everybody missing off the map, but thinking he's going to be able to escape. He's still running. They're going to be able to do it, actually, and Moo finds the kill on QO. Immortals just like spread out in
Dire's
awkward
bottom tower has
positions.
fallen.
Even if they dedicated all 5 heroes to killing
Dire's
Lycan,
bottom
I mean, like,
tower
Phantom
is
Lancer
under
definitely should not have gotten caught out by himself. Like, he knew that all of complexity aside from the Lycan was there since they just killed the Skywrath in the bot lane, so I'm surprised that he was there, but Lycan in Shapeshift, like, there's not enough stun time. Or, I mean, ideally there is with just the Dragon's Tail, but then you do... They have no damage.
Right.
The DK went for a Blink Dagger. He hasn't completed that armlet yet. Phantom Lancer, even if he was there, I don't know if it would have been enough damage right now with just a Diffusal Blade. And he's going for a Heart Max. His hookshot actually whiffs. That would have been dead DK, but... So, yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing too. Like all these heroes, they just now have a Force Staff on Febby. Like Febby needs to play so defensively and make sure that his other cores don't get caught out by that. And this is time when they're locked up in their base and complexity can farm the rest of the map while Moo sort of takes the aggression that could be coming their way. Playing it beautifully. Chase. Oh.
Like, all these complexity heroes are able to get away with murder because there's just not enough ways to keep them
Febby's
still.
there though. He has the silence. That's the orb down. Need to get out of there. Could think about
there's
making it
the tail.
happen, and good play by Febby.
Yeah, I'm surprised he was able to pull it off. He didn't even have to force staff to get in for the seal. He was just able to walk up with that 420 move speed, but I guess maybe Tranquil Boots are unbroken, so he's a little bit faster, and nighttime vision means he gets it, but it does mean that complexity are not going to be able to do anything constructive with this Aegis. Pretty much everything that they were getting away with, they would have been able to get away with without the Aegis, but it's still, like, it's not that bad, because Limp hasn't spent his 10-second BKB, so it's almost like he, you know, hasn't really bought it yet. It's just like a farming item right now, so it's... I still think that they need to end this game before, like, 35 minutes. I said 30 minutes originally, but now I'm stretching it a little bit further, but...
They've been doing well.
They have been doing well, exactly, and so they're increasing the window. But if Q manages to complete a heart, then things become a lot trickier for complexity.
Yeah, definitely, and these are heroes that, you know, they don't really have that great ability to clear through those illusions, with the exception of Limp.
Oh man, they take the top tier 3. And that's how you use Arctic Burn, Z-Freak.
That's pretty great.
The
He is stuck
courier's
here
gonna
now.
find him. That's worth.
Or
Especially if
not.
they can't find him.
They
I'm
can't
surprised
find
he's
him.
not even TPing out.
Bold as brass. Kyle almost
Dire's
ran into a
top
couple
shrine
people
is
there, and
under
he
attack.
drops down a sentry ward now. Which he's hoping they're going to be able to get the D ward on, and yes, indeed, they do.
Yeah, that's not often that you
Dire's
see
top
that be
shrine
counter-warded.
has fallen.
It's crazy.
And Shrine immediately taken right after that tier 3 is claimed. This is both games have been exceptionally clean from complexity.
Yeah, they're super good.
Dire's top
Ward drop
barracks
down
are
in
under
vision of
attack.
that sentry, and with the creep wave coming in, they should be able to take down this ranged barracks and possibly more as
Dire's top
the damage is
barracks
coming.
has
There
fallen.
is a smoke up now, and Chessie gonna pop his ulti, thinking about wanting to go in right now with this one. They're gonna fully commit to this. Now they can still go for the Dragon Tail Mystic Flare on top of it. Chessie's living, pops his own BKB, turns the fight. Huo gonna take down that ward. They still have vision here, Walrus Punch, but Chessie's gonna back away, and Limp pops his ultimate, able to doppelganger away from it. They're just gonna try and run away before the rest of this comes out. Dream Coil onto 1,000,010 illusions. We hear a lot of snaps coming out, and, well, teammates hitting each other as Z-Freak is gonna go for the Glimmer Cave TP, but it was never gonna be enough.
Yeah, thankfully complexity didn't take that fight, because it would have been tricky if they stuck around. With the Lycan having taken that much damage, that Glimmer Cape came out surprisingly late from Z-Freak, but I think that's because he didn't want to get initiated as now, because Kyle is initiating onto the Clockwork, but that Skywrath is a Force Staff.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can punish him.
Well, you know,
It'll take a lot of effort, but they will in the end.
it happens sometimes. And 2 kills does give a little bit of life back towards Immortals, but it's been a tough one so far, and a 13,000 net worth lead.
Yeah, so for that tier 3 siege, I am pretty sure that Z-Freak was just saying far, far back to make sure that he does not get initiated on by either the Brewmaster's Blink Dagger or the Dragon Knight's Blink Dagger, and so wasn't really able to get into position to Glimmer Cape that Lycan early on, because if they did get that Glimmer Cape early on, then chances are that Complexity would have taken that fight, and would have probably won that fight, but they back off wisely, they took a full Rex, you know, you should be happy with that.
Really, really short Roche respawn time. It's already back up. It was about like 5 minutes and 20 seconds or something crazy like that. And Immortals conceivably could try and make something happen there if they could sneak it.
At the minimum, I hope they scout it, because they can take a fight with it. They may not be high enough damage to kill it, as Moo looking for an opening.
Oh, they've got him. Kiwo pushed back again, and he just dropped so quickly, and even though he's going to try and doppelganger away, it wasn't going to be enough. Dead for 60, and now Chessie looking to chase down MSS. He are going to get the Yule Scepter lift up from really bad to really, really bad, as MSS is going to get triple raised and eventually killed off. Check Roshan, pick it up. Easy Aegis and cheese.
Chessie's using this Dominator so well. In the early game, he was using it. He was getting a lot of creeps for like lane dominance. Like in the previous game, we saw Centaur stomps, and this game actually also he went for a Centaur, and then he had an Alpha Wolf to help him push. Right. Now he's picked up this Persian creep. He slowed down MSS's escape, and they were able to pick him off. So Chessie's been doing such a good job at making the most out of these dominated creeps. Because a lot of times we'll just see like a Lycan be like, all right, I got my Alpha Wolf. I'm just gonna chill out with this guy all game long, but Chessie's mixing it up, and it's working well.
Like MP, he doesn't have a TP actually. Oh no, no TP, it's on cooldown, and now the pressure's gonna come. They don't have a DK there to help out with the fight. Brewmaster split, it's gonna be off cooldown, but I don't know if they can actually take this engagement without the DK. Limp starting to hit through these. Melee Barracks is gonna go down. And a full lane of Barracks into the favor of Complexity as he holds off on using that BKB. A Glimmer Cape comes in for the save.
Yeah, I think DK being there or not wouldn't have really mattered. It's up to MSS's Brewmaster to find proper initiation, because if the DK jumps in with a Blink Dagger and BKB, he's just going to get cursed immediately. And so DK isn't really the hero that you want frontlining. You need MSS to cause some chaos before DK finds an opening.
Well, bottom lane, they've got some pressure being put onto it, as a creep wave is going to be hitting their base. As the creep wave responds, flare, try and help with the push. And if Immortals aren't careful, they still can't really leave their base. They just get blown up immediately if they step too far forward.
I also want to shout out Kyle's choice to go for a Spirit Vessel this game. One of the most traditional ways to deal with the DK is Silver Edge, but Spirit Vessel is so good. If you click on DK right now, he's got 31.7 HP regen per second, and that's purely Dragon's Blood.
Yeah.
And well, I guess then it's like BKB also and some strength from his treads, but
we gotta
the majority of it is from passive.
We gotta mention real quickly also that Qo's heart just got taken out on the courier. So 3 minutes with that on the sidelines. I think this game is pretty much over now. If they just push with the next creep wave, I don't see how Immortals kill Limp twice.
I don't see how they kill him once. Solar Crest, Glimmer Cape, Cold Embrace. There are so many buffs you can put. Butterfly. There's so many damage mitigation options for this Shadow Fiend.
Well, he's trying to clear through those illusions. Still tough with just the Reaver on QO, but finally now the tower is going to go down. They pop the Howl as well. Mystic Flare, he's getting healed up though, and everything keeping him alive. They have the coil into QO. It is going to end up snapping as he comes out of it. The snowball to keep him alive for the moment. The snowball forward as Limp is going to pop his ultimate. It connects onto MP. Not hugely significant, but they are still able to clear through all of those Brewlings. Brewmaster is dead. Tower is down, and everybody on Complexity looking pretty healthy.
They're getting zoned out by supports pretty much.
Yeah, this is over. Spirit Vessels keep everybody surviving, and GG well played is called. Complexity, a confident 2-0 over Immortals.
Yeah, I mean, I was not expecting it to be that one-sided for sure. I was expecting a 2-1 at the minimum. I wasn't even like putting a 18-minute and 28-minute GG on the table for just a straight 2-0 for Complexity, but they did their homework. Like game 1, they out immortaled Immortals, and in game 2, I think they just like played normal complexity Dota, and it worked out very well both games.
Yeah. Well, really good stuff. I'm excited to see where they go from here. Complexity versus Immortals is in the bag, and we've got one final game. It's the grand finals of Complexity versus Animal Planet. Really excited for it. Hope that you guys enjoyed the broadcast. Tsunami, any final words? It was a quick one for us, a really quick day. We always start casting like an hour and a half ago.
Yeah. I actually honestly didn't think that I would put Complexity as my favorites, like looking at the initial qualifier roster of all 8 teams that were in it. But I think based solely off of, because it wasn't even like everything was looking so good for Complexity. It wasn't like just purely an outdraft, or, you know, they took like late game really well or something like that. Like it seemed so systematic the way that they played. And that's something that I had issues with Animal Planet in their series against Optic yesterday, in this qualifier specifically. I don't know how their other series went against Optic, but in the previous series, like they were easy to read, and in this series, it seemed like Kyle knew what to do whenever he can read an opponent, and so I'm sure that he's probably going to be pretty well equipped dealing with Animal Planet in the grand finals. So I'm going to give the edge to Complexity for this StarLadder qualifier in North America.
We'll see if we see Complexity rather at another StarLadder there at the last one as well. The very first minor of the year, actually. So wanting to come back and prove that they still got what it takes. But stay tuned, everybody, because, well, actually, don't stay tuned to this channel. There's going to be a ton of other Dota on other channels. PGL qualifiers, I think, are still going on right now. Yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed the broadcast, though, and we'll see you next time for some more Dota 2 action. Adios.